Welcome to Legion Builds, where I guide you on how to bring your favorite characters into Dungeons & Dragons. This video and all my content is made possible by my Patreon supporters, and it's dedicated to every one of you who subscribes to my channel. I really wouldn't do this without you guys. Seriously, because of you, this channel remains fun for me. Even though I get people who hate on my videos that I don't even remember what I did, spammers who just try to sell things, and other scams. Today we're building the great Jedi hero, Luke Skywalker. If you don't know who the character is, I'm not going to give you a spoiler warning for this. Luke is one of the only children of Anakin Skywalker, also known as Darth Vader, the scariest SOB in the galaxy. Under the tutelage of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda, Luke eventually becomes a hero of the rebellion and restored the Jedi Order, before falling into the same traps the old Jedi Order did and fell himself. I'm just going to say it, the Jedi of the Clone Wars era were so full of themselves they forced their wards into becoming child soldiers, breaking them mentally and literally made every single mistake they could make. Palpatine manipulated them as easy as he did Jar Jar Binks. These are not the people you should be basing your whole life of, Luke. Maybe pre-Clone Wars era when they still had some sense to them. Legends Luke was way smarter. Disney should have gone with Legends. Like all Force-sensitive people, Luke has a wide array of abilities including telekinesis, enhanced physicality, reflexes, and minor mind control. He is also a skilled pilot and a master duelist. For today's build, we'll be using the Player's Handbook, Xanathar's Guide to Everything, and Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. We'll be using standard point array to make things simple for you should you want to roll or use point buy, and we are multi-classing, so we have some stat minimums you need to keep an eye on. We'll start things off with Charisma at 15. Your Force capabilities are solely reliant on force of your own will and emotions. If you aren't sure of yourself, your powers are useless. And you are the most confident warrior in the galaxy. Seriously, you took a huge gamble on your father returning, and it paid off. Good for you. Dex will come in at 14. As a Jedi, your reflexes and movement capabilities are insane. Strength will be next at 13. This is a stat minimum, enough said. Con follows with 12. No particular reason, since I have no clue how healthy you are. I'm going to assume you ate right and took care of yourself and you have great focus. Wisdom will be low with 10, not too important, and we're dumping intelligence. I don't want to dump intelligence because you're not dumb, but we're stuck with an 8 and I refuse to use point buy for these videos. If I use point buy, I might as well roll for stats at this point because not everyone uses the same point buy system. I have been a part of games that have used 4 different point buy systems. Seriously. In the end, I do not like your wisdom or your intelligence stat, but yeah, this is what we got. Luke is a human, like 99.99999% of all sci-fi heroes. It's easier on the budget. Custom lineage grants you a free feat and skill with your stat improvement. Place +2 into Dex. For your free feat, let's grab some force powers with Telekinetic from Tasha's. This adds +1 to Charisma and gives you Mage Hand cantrip, and it turns it invisible. This cantrip lets you move and interact with objects up to 30 feet for 1 minute. You can carry an item up to 10 pounds and use it for simple interactions, but can't make, attack, or use magic items with it. This feat also lets you, as a bonus action, sub someone within 30 feet of you. Targeting one creature, you force a strength save, which is based on your charisma, and if they fail, you move them 5 feet toward you or away from you. For your free skill, grab Perception. For your background, we need the skills Acrobatics and Insight. Okay, you weren't a master duelist to begin with, so we're going to start with some force capabilities. Level 1 Sorcerer start off with 2 skills. Grab Arcana and Persuasion. You can also switch Arcana with Religion if you want. I don't know how your DM sees the Force. Sorcerer's origin is the source of your power, and we're going with Divine Soul found in Xanathar's. Divine Magic grants you access to spells from the Cleric spell list if you want them, and grants you a free spell. Bless lets you grant up to 3 creatures within 30 feet of you a d4 which they can add to any attack roll or saving throw for up to 1 minute while you maintain the spell. That's enough for Han, Chewie, and Leia. Favored by the Gods lets you add 2d4 to a failed saving throw or missed attack once per short or long rest. Spell casting grants you 4 cantrips and 2 spells at this level. For your spells, Guidance grants you, well, guidance through the Force. For 1 minute while you maintain this spell, you can give a willing creature you touch, like yourself, a d4 to any skill check. Thunderclap lets you use the Force to hit every enemy within 5 feet of you by forcing a con save and dealing 1d6 thunder damage on a failure. Friends is a simple Jedi mind trick. For 1 minute, while you maintain the spell, you have advantage on all charisma checks directed at one creature that isn't hostile towards you. But when the spell ends, they will know what you did and may become hostile, if the DM wishes them to be. Green Flame Blade charges your weapons with green burning energy, but you don't have many weapons at this time. I'll fix it next level. When you cast this spell, you make a melee attack against a creature. When you hit said creature, your blade continues and automatically hits another creature within 5 feet of you, dealing your charisma modifier in fire damage. Mage Armor enhances your reflexes when not wearing armor and grants you an AC of 13 plus dex for 8 hours. Shield adds +5 to your AC as a reaction and automatically stops magic missile against you. Okay, we need some weapon training now. Level 1 Paladins start things off with Divine Sense. As an action, you can sense any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet of you, or if there is a sacred or desecrated object or places within 60 feet. You can do this a number of times equal to your charisma modifier +1 between long rest. Lay on Hands grants you a pool of healing that equals your Paladin level ×5 between long rests. By expending your pool, you can heal 1 HP per what is taken from the pool. You can also pull 5 from the pool and cure 1 disease or poison. Oh yeah, you're now proficient in all simple and martial weapons. Grab a rapier and let's go. Level 2 Paladins gain a Fighting Style. Dueling adds +2 to your weapon damage when wielding only one weapon and holding nothing else. I'd rather give you great weapon fighting, but I have no clue if some old dude is going to hand you a Sunblade. Better known for you non-D&D players who may be watching this video as a lightsaber. Yes, lightsabers are in D&D. If your journey starts with said old dude giving you the weapon that your father used to kill kids, then switch this out for great weapon fighting and re-roll weapon damage when you are wielding it with 2 hands. Divine Smite is going to turn any weapon you wield into a lightsaber. When you hit with a melee attack, you can now burn a spell slot to add 2d8 radiant damage to the attack. The higher level a spell slot, the more radiant damage you deal. By the way, you can combine this with Green Flame Blade, and at the end of this build, you'll be dealing 9d8s in fire and radiant damage. Unless it's a fiend or undead, in which case you get to add another d8 of radiant damage. You also receive spellcasting again, but now it's different because you're a half caster. At the end of a long rest, you can prepare a total number of spells equal to half your Paladin level plus Charisma modifier. Since you're multi-classing spellcasters, check out page 164 of the Player's Handbook on how many spell slots you can have. Right now, you have 4 Paladin spells. For your prepared spells, I don't care. There are some good ones, but you'll get all that you need from Sorcerer, so you'll be able to customize this more. Look at the Smite spells, they're going to be pretty cool for you. Level 3 Paladins receive their subclass. Because of your unwavering belief in the Force and your father, we're going with Oath of Devotion, found in the Player's Handbook. Oath spells are bonus Paladin spells you always have prepared. For your Oath spells, Sanctuary wards one creature within 30 feet of you for 1 minute. Until the spell ends, anytime the creature is a target of an attack or spell, the creature attacking must make a Wisdom save. On a failure, they must choose a new target or lose the attack or spell. This does not protect from area effect spells or attacks. If the creature attacks, deals damage, or affects another creature with a spell, the spell ends. Protection from Good and Evil protects one creature you touch for up to 10 minutes while you maintain the spell against certain types of creatures. like aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. Creatures that I just listed have disadvantage on attack rolls against the target. If the target of this spell is already charmed, frightened, or possessed by a creature I have listed, the target has advantage on saving throws against the effects. Channel Divinity lets you channel the Force in one of two ways, once per short or long rest. For your Channel Divinity options, Sacred Weapon literally transforms your weapon into a lightsaber with an action. For 1 minute, your weapon is now magical, emits bright light out to a 20-foot radius, and adds your Charisma modifier to the attack rolls. Turn the Unholy lets you, as an action, force a Wisdom save against all fiends and undead within 30 feet of you. If it fails, it is now turned for 1 minute or until it takes damage. While turned, the creature must use its turns to escape you and can't willingly move into a space within 30 feet of you. Harness Divine Power lets you use your Channel Divinity to regain one used spell slot with a bonus action. Divine Health makes you immune to diseases. Level 4 Paladins earn our first ability score improvement. Place this in Charisma. You can now prepare 6 Paladin spells per long rest. Your character level 5 now. Thunderclap now does 2d6 thunder damage, and Green Flame Blade just got a big upgrade. Now the weapon you attack with can add 1d8 fire damage to the original attack, and 1d8 plus your Charisma to the second target. Level 5 Paladins gain extra attack. You can now attack twice with a single attack action. Now heads up, if you cast Green Flame Blade, you do not benefit from extra attack because your attack is part of the casting of the spell, not using the attack action. Don't worry, I'm going to stack more damage on just one single attack when you want to annihilate something. Like with your new 2nd level spell slots from Divine Smite. For your Oath spells, Lesser Restoration allows you to touch one creature and end one effect that can be a disease or a condition effect, such as blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poison. Zone of Truth creates a 15-foot radius sphere out to 60 feet from you for 10 minutes. Creatures within the sphere must make a con save. If they fail, they cannot lie within the sphere. Both you and they will know if the spell is working, and while they must tell the truth, they can simply avoid answering the questions altogether. But if they do answer, it must be truthful. Level 2 Sorcerers now have Font of Magic. These are sorcery points that you have that equal your sorcery level between long rest. Next level you can spend these points to alter your spells, but right now you can burn spell slots to regain points, or burn points to regain spell slots. Gee, I wonder which one you're going to be using. For your new spell, Featherfall stops all fall damage no matter the height as a reaction. Level 3 Sorcerers receive Meta Magic. These are spell options you can spend on your sorcery points to alter your spells. For these options, Quicken Spell costs 2 sorcery points to turn one spell with a casting time of 1 action into a bonus action. You know, like Green Flame Blade. Heightened Spell costs 3 sorcery points, which is all you have, to cause disadvantage on a saving throw to one creature you target with a spell. You also now have 2nd level spells. For your new spells, let's stay with 1st level for a little while for a real Jedi mind trick. Charm Person targets one creature in 30 feet and forces a Wisdom save. Should they fail, they are now charmed by you for the next hour and see you as a friend. The spell ends if they take damage from you or your allies, or they see you or your allies harming one of their allies. When the spell ends, they know you charmed them. Level 4 Sorcerers earn another ability score improvement. Let's bump up your sword skills by adding this to Dex. For your new spell, Hold Person lets you force hold a humanoid within 60 feet of you by forcing a Wisdom save. If they fail, they are paralyzed for 1 minute while you maintain the spell. You also get a new cantrip. Have fun choosing. Level 5 Sorcerers gain Magical Guidance. When you make an ability check and fail, you can spend 1 sorcery point to reroll the d20. You also gain 3rd level spells. For your new spell, Levitate allows you to raise or lower one object or creature within 60 feet of you for up to 10 minutes while you maintain the spell. For the duration, you can raise or lower the target up to 20 feet per turn as long as it doesn't weigh over 500 pounds. If the target is an unwilling creature, they must make a con save to remain unaffected. Now you can only raise or lower the object, not move it horizontally, but once the target begins levitating, it can be pushed or even push itself if it's alive. When the spell ends, the target floats down gently. Level 6 Paladins now have Aurora of Protection. Now when you or a friendly creature within 10 feet of you makes a saving throw, your Charisma modifier is now added to the save, even if it's a Charisma save. You can now prepare 7 Paladin spells per long rest. Your character level 11 now, Thunderclap now does 3d6, and Green Flame Blade now does 2d8 fire damage to the first target, and 2d8 plus Charisma to the second target. Level 7 Devotion Paladins receive Aura of Devotion. Now you and any friendly creature within 10 feet of you can't be charmed while you're conscious. Level 8 Paladins earn another ability score improvement to cap off Charisma for a better spell DC. You can now prepare 9 Paladin spells per long rest. Level 9 Paladins gain 3rd level spell slots. For your Oath spells, Beacon of Hope lets you choose any number of creatures within 30 feet. While you maintain the spell for 1 minute, anyone affected now has advantage on Wisdom and Death saves and regains a maximum number of HP points when healing. Dispel Magic lets you target a creature or object under a magical effect, or a magical effect itself, and end the spell if it is 3rd level or lower. If it is 4th level or higher, you must make a Charisma check with a DC of 10 plus the spell level to end it. Level 10 Paladins now have Aurora of Courage. Now, you and any friendly creature within 10 feet of you cannot be frightened while you are conscious. You can now prepare 10 Paladin spells per long rest. Paladins get a lightsaber. Improved Divine Smite now adds 1d8 radiant damage to any melee weapon you attack with, even if you get a Sunblade that may or may not have been involved in war crimes or any other magical melee weapon. Level 6 Divine Soul Sorcerers gain Empowered Healing. Now when you or an ally within 5 feet of you rolls dice to determine how much HP you regain from a spell, you can spend 1 sorcery point to reroll any number of those dice once, providing you aren't incapacitated. You can use this feature once per turn. For your new spell, Jump increases your jump distance for 1 minute. If Little Grogu is any indication, that is probably the most fun Jedi power you have. Your character level 17 now. Thunderclap now does 4d6 thunder damage, and Green Flame Blade now adds 3d8 fire damage to the original target and 3d8 plus Charisma to the second target. Level 7 Sorcerers receive 4th level spells. For your new spell, Suggestion is a far more powerful Jedi mind trick. By the way, this is actually a 2nd level spell, so if you want it earlier, take it. Targeting one creature within 30 feet of you, you force a Wisdom save. Should they fail, for the next 8 hours while you maintain the spell, you can suggest a course of action for them to take. It must be something reasonable to them, so you cannot tell them to harm themselves or others. And you can tell them the conditions of which will cause the suggestion to start. Level 8 Sorcerers earn our final ability score improvement, Cap Off Dex for better attacks. For your new spell, Catapult uses the Force to launch an object within 60 feet that weighs up to 5 pounds. The object travels up to 90 feet in one direction. Should it collide with anything before the 90 feet is up, the creature it hits must make a dex save. Should it fail, the object dead stops, and both it and what it hit takes 3d8 bludgeoning damage. Our final level is level 9 Sorcerer, and you now have 5th level spells. For your final spell, Telekinesis allows you to use the Force to move objects or creatures in any direction up to 60 feet away from you for 10 minutes while you maintain the spell. If the target is unwilling, you must contest their strength check with a Charisma check. Should they fail, they are now restrained, and you can move them up to 30 feet in any direction. Each turn, you must use your action to maintain the grip on them by repeating the contest. Now that we've hit level 20, let's recap. Your stats are Strength 13, Dex 20, Con 12, Intelligence 8, Wisdom 10, Charisma 20. Your total levels are Paladin 11, Sorcerer 9. Let's dive in. One word, lightsaber. Let's go over the damage you're dealing using an ordinary rapier. Using all your possible damage increases, you're dealing 1d8 plus 7 piercing damage, 3d8 fire damage, and 6d8 radiant damage on a single hit. We can also have a little fun with this. You can attack twice in a single round, dealing 1d8 plus 7 plus 1d8 radiant damage per hit. Then quicken spell, dealing 1d8 plus 7 plus 3d8 fire damage plus 1d8 radiant damage. Without divine smiting, you can take this up to 5d8 radiant damage. Using sacred weapon, your 2-hit goes from plus 11 to plus 26, meaning you're going to be dealing massive hits. A lot. Your buffs are great. You can add up to 3d4s to a saving throw or attack roll, 1d4 to skill checks. You can stop people from being charmed, stop them from being frightened, and add up to plus 5 to any saving throw you or your allies make. To finish it all off, you have an AC of 18 and can take that up to 23. You take no falling damage, can charm people, move objects from a distance, and hold people. Downside. So firstly, you have a lot of concentration spells, like most of your spell list. You also have amazing abilities and limited resources. You have 9 sorcery points, so you can do quicken spell up to 4 times per long rest, or heighten spell 3 times, or any combination of both. Also, you have great spells, but divine smite is amazing. If you try to go all out powerful in combat, you will burn through everything you have fast. Finally, your intelligence and wisdom are way lower than they should be. Thankfully, you get to add your charisma saves, but I still don't like how low they are. It's time to leave your dull life on that miserable desert planet that the franchise can't seem to leave and see the galaxy. While you're at it, why don't you make some new friends, find your family, and save the galaxy. Thank you for joining me today. Make sure to like and subscribe to not miss a single new build each week on YouTube and Spotify. Make sure to check out my Patreon where you can help decide next week's new character. It's back into the fog for some Dead by Daylight. Who will it be? It's Clown versus Plague.